A surprise pledge from Gaza's armed factions could reshape the region if it survives the reality test. Welcome to the Automated Daily, Top News Edition, the podcast created by generative AI. It's August 27th, 2026. I'm Trent Teller, and here are the stories you need to know today. This episode is brought to you by Prezi. Prezi helps you create stunning AI-powered presentations in minutes. Find the link in the episode notes. We begin in Gaza, where a potentially major political shift is now on the table. Hamas and other armed factions say they are prepared to surrender their weapons and hand both civilian and security authority to a UN-recognized transitional administration. If that actually happens, it could change the conversation around reconstruction, security, and regional diplomacy in a very serious way. The big question, of course, is whether all sides accept the plan and whether it can move from announcement to reality. Elsewhere in the Middle East, the story we've been following around Iran grew more tense. Diplomatic efforts intensified after another commercial tanker was attacked in the Strait of Hormuz, one of the world's most important energy routes. Iran dismissed the latest U.S. sanctions, signaling that economic pressure alone is not shifting its position. Outing to the uncertainty, President Donald Trump said Iran's supreme leader Mojtaba Khamenei is alive but has severe injuries on the left side of his body, a claim Tehran has not clearly addressed. In Ukraine, Russia carried out another overnight wave of drone and missile strikes, with explosions reported in Kyiv and other regions. Early reports suggested limited casualties, but debris from intercepted missiles still caused damage in the capital. In a related global security development, the UN Secretary General and the President of the Red Cross issued a rare joint appeal for binding international rules on AI-guided and fully autonomous weapons. Their warning was straightforward. These systems are already appearing in war, and governments are running out of time to set limits before the technology outruns the law. In North America, the U.S.-Canada trade fight took another step in the wrong direction. Canada announced matching retaliatory tariffs after the United States imposed 50% duties on roughly $20 billion worth of Canadian products. That means higher pressure on cross-border supply chains and a growing risk of higher prices for businesses and consumers on both sides of the border. At the same time, the U.S. State Department has temporarily paused processing immigrant visa applications during security and operational reviews, a move business groups say could slow green card approvals and make it harder for companies to recruit and keep skilled talent. On the tech front, Meta has agreed to pay as much as $18 billion to settle sweeping lawsuits from U.S. states over claims that Facebook and Instagram were designed to hook children and misled families about mental health risks. The agreement is expected to require major changes, including default daily time limits for teens and stronger parental controls. This is one of the largest tech-related legal settlements in U.S. history, and its impact could stretch well beyond the United States as regulators everywhere take a harder look at youth online safety.
Climate disasters are also dominating the global picture today. A massive glacial collapse in the Himalayan border region between Nepal and China triggered flash floods and landslides that have killed at least 160 people, with hundreds still missing. In Algeria, wildfires have killed at least 12 people and forced evacuations as hot, dry conditions fuel the blazes. And in Central America, Panama has declared a national emergency, while El Salvador and Honduras issued red alerts as El Niño drives drought, heat, and water shortages. Different regions, different disasters, but the same underlying theme. Climate stress is hitting harder and in more ways at once. And finally, in Pakistan, a fire at a hospital in Islamabad killed at least 14 newborn babies, setting off grief and anger nationwide. Families are demanding answers over reported concerns about fire exits, alarm systems, and overcrowded neonatal wards. Authorities have opened an investigation and promised accountability if negligence is found. It is a devastating story, and it is also a harsh reminder that basic safety systems in hospitals can be a matter of life and death. Thanks to our sponsor, Lindy. Lindy is your ultimate AI assistant that proactively manages your inbox, meetings, and calendar so you can focus on what actually matters. Find the link in the episode notes. That's your top news briefing for August 27th, 2026. Thanks for listening to the Automated Daily, Top News Edition. I'm Trent Teller, and I'll be back with the next update soon.